I can't believe they picked Terrorblade. I was thinking to myself, like, because, you know, we saw T1, they didn't ban the TA, blah, blah, right? And then they proved, like, they could beat it. Neon are a team that really like, prioritized TA in the past. And I was wondering if, like, TB also didn't get banned. I was like, would they just pick TB? I was like, no, because they got a Pango core, right? Like, that is a horrible matchup. But they've just taken it anyway. Like, why do you think that would be fair?
Just the tiny matchup. They want to have better carry matchup. Terrorblade is one of your go-to carries versus tiny.
I think it's so hard though into like Keeper,
This
Pango,
is not
and
a
Pugna.
it's not a free Terrorblade game. No, absolutely not. I'm just telling you
Yeah.
why they picked it.
Okay, yeah.
It's for sure not a free game.
It's like, it feels worse than free though. Like, when I look at the matchups, like Pugna's new Shard, if he puts down his ward in a fight and sucks it, like, it literally kills every single illusion by Terrorblade.
Yeah, this is not an easy TB game, so it will be interesting for sure. His lane might go fine though. I don't really think Pango plus Pugna will pressure him that much, with the Bane being there. So he should get pretty farmed. But I think Tiny... Well, who's going to be our 5? Will it be
It'd be Pugna.
Pugna 5? Alright,
Yeah.
so it'll be Coddle Pango. That's a bit harder for TB, actually, because he's going to get spammed down. I'm not sure if Bane can help too much with that. So it's really going to come down to, like, these carries and how much of an acceleration they can get. TB's going to need a bit of an early BKB this game. But once he gets into those items, he's one of those heroes that can just kill Tiny, like, from full HP. Especially if you can get a Sunder off on him. There's a lot of ways, but, like, Tiny's a very immobile hero, and TB just pumps out the most damage of pretty much any carry, so that's what they're going for.
What's your opinion on like TB's playstyle? Would he want to do more focus on like splitting and cutting lanes, or do you think there's a item timing they can get where they can just team fight and it's fine? And is that just like the BKB
I mean,
you
you
mentioned?
have to do both. Like, you have to, like, obviously in the early game, I can't go on forever about how to play TB, but like, if you want.
I just give this play by play, minute by minute.
I mean, I'm curious because this seems like, you know, this is OB Neon's like main thing here. It's their carry, and it seems like it's such a hard game for it. So
Well, he's gonna have to like farm an early item like a Dragonlance, maybe into BKB, but he'll be defensive at first. Maybe do a couple ancients with the first meta. If he wants to get active with it, I never hate to see that. Just taking the early tower, but he should prioritize his farm. Then once he gets 1 or 2 items, don't just be AFK and sit in the triangle. At some point, you're gonna want to like get a more aggressive positioning so you can use that illusion to cut waves and farm jungle and push waves, and not just sit in the triangle 24/7. That will be like the most passive way you could play it. So I do want him to get a bit more active and not just sit in the triangle for 20 minutes.
I know you want to probably ask some more questions.
no, I'm done.
Shape
That
about
was enough.
TV.
I'm good. TV's
I was gonna
done.
say, I want you to explain the Polaris draft. Talk to me about it, and I guess the Doom last pick. We saw it happen a couple days ago for another team, and it just did not work out. The lineup just wasn't in their favor.
I don't know, this looks like an early Polaris draft from the start of the season. They just take a bunch of heroes that don't really play make, and they just farm their items up on their carry on Tiny. He's gonna like farm this Ancients that are gonna be super stacked by a Keeper of the Light, and then they'll just hit this timing, try not to give up too many kills until then, and just walk it down. I mean, not walk down, but they'll make plays, they'll smoke out, they'll try and get a Roche or whatever. Their fighting is really scary when they hit that timing, of course, because not only will you have like this super big Tiny, but they have to deal with the roll, the Doom on their carry, or you know, you're down one hero instantly at the start of a fight. It's scary.
Oh, they just picked Doom against Necro. Interesting.
Yeah, well, the 2 drafts are done, and so I want to bring in our casters, Lyrical and GoDz. Welcome, guys. I want to get your thoughts, Lyrical, on this Necro. A lot more, I guess, favored these days in C.
Well, you know, Fear was saying, like, why would you pick this into Doom? He's just going to get Doom. The key is they need to Doom 2 targets so they can't lose, right? That's the way it works.
Refresher orb.
Right? Oh no. What have they done?
I didn't think about that one. But yourself, GoDz, except I want to know thoughts about Pugna, because you saw it on the panel a couple of days ago too.
Yeah, Pugna's looking. Stocks are rising. Pugna's looking better and better, and I'm glad we're seeing the SA team start to pick up on it, because it's just like this perfect hero to enable like your kind of 4 protect 1 kind of strat. They're gonna make Natsumi like an absolute beast when he's got a Pugna just sitting behind him, life draining. So I think the lack of jump against the Pugna could be a little problematic.
I guess hearing their thoughts as well now. For both of you, which team would you like to side with? Where are you going to put all of your analyst coins in? All the analyst eggs in one basket?
Probably Polaris.
I think Polaris will take the game, but it might be a little rough in the early game.
Okay. Just because I want to be different, I'm just going to say Neon. Yeah, I got absolutely no reason why. I got no knowledge.
Yeah.
But Gods and Lyrical, I'll let you guys jump into game one, but also don't forget to tell us which team you guys think is going to be taking it out.
Thank you so much, Nat. Yeah, I'm kind of down for a contrarian Obi Neon, but I did like
Okay.
the Doom pick a lot. I don't know, Parker. What about you? What are you feeling?
I'm torn. I think this is like a nice game where you go in where it's like it doesn't feel like either team has a big draft advantage. Like OB
Right.
Neon, I think have set themselves up for a pretty solid TB game. Like yeah, the Doom is problematic and stuff, but it just feels like TB against these other cores and even against the Doom like can work well. Necro pick, a bit of an X factor for me. I do think Polaris overall a bit of a favorites, and that's where at least for game one, like I would lean their way because I think there's a lot of pressure on OB Neon to make plays and moves when you're up against this kind of greedy draft. Any draft with the Doom is just naturally going to be looking to outfarm you.
Yeah, and that they knew that this was kind of going to be the Polaris game plan coming in. I know that, Sheep was talking about the fact that Polaris has been expanding the way that they play. They've been doing these other things more recently where they try and, not just be late game. Dude, Jing has been spamming this emote the whole freaking time that he's been in there. It's good luck charm. But yeah, I'm curious if this sort of return back to greedy, stack up constantly with Xavius on the coddle type of gameplay is going to work for them. And the early couple of minutes are going to be definitely interesting to watch.
Yeah. It's definitely where they found their success, and I think naturally it's the kind of gameplay that's going to get punished by maybe the top teams. Like, it was Boom who first beat them during this DPC season. It was a close 2-1, but I think they felt pressured to try and like adjust their gameplay because teams like Boom, Fnatic, T1 are going to potentially cause them problems. Although they beat T1 early in the season, but now that they're going up against some of these teams that are less good at like executing like an aggressive game plan, and also what we've seen from OB Neon is a lot of like greedy drafts. Asta likes to play these like him carries. I think going back to this greedy style is a good idea for Polaris.
Okay, well, getting into position here, trying to get themselves a quick couple of runes, and Asta able to outclick him there, actually. So a quick little runaway, but OB Neon starting off with 3 bounty runes as Asta takes a beating and gets back over to the lane. Should be perfectly fine there, starting with just the full magic wand. Kind of interesting.
Gets the tower high five.
Love it.
This is the Tundra Gaming Magic Wand starting item. I feel like they're the ones who would just get a bunch of branches and magic sticks and wands. And you're playing against Coddle Doom. Like Devour's got a long cooldown, but you're gonna get some free wand charges here.
Yeah, definitely. And back towards this bottom side, you can already see the pressure being thrown back with the reflection early on. Abang did go up and block that hard camp, actually, on the Bane. So they're not going to quite have the success that they want yet, although Xavius does already have a sentry ward, and they saw him coming down from the north, so they might anticipate that was blocked off. But Coddle, Doom, and the constant spam is likely we're going to be seeing it a little bit here from Xavius on this Coddle. This hero that's completely taken over the DPC, it feels like. He's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Coddle, yeah. Fully arriving as the kind of go-to support for so many different teams, and every now and then, very rarely, a mid laner. This hero just does so much. The lane securing with Illuminate, the stacking. Chakra has so many different synergies. I think it's a fairly fun hero to watch, too. Like, it's not a big playmaker out of the 4th position, but it's a hero that encourages, like, aggressive dodo a lot of the time, even though it's known for also its turtling.
As we take a look also up top side here, Natsumi taking a good chunk of damage there from Enryo and Jing. They're keeping that pressure on. And another couple of heroes that have definitely risen in prominence in this Necrophos can be a heck of a bully. And if you can start getting some of those kills stacked up early, the regen that you get is just absolutely insane.
Yeah. I feel like some of the Necro we've seen here in SCA hasn't been as impressive, and the heroes felt even lackluster at times, but that's partly because it's been mostly, I think, T1 and Cuckoo playing, and they'll just pick the hero like first phase and get hard countered. This is the first game where I feel like I see a Necro, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really good Necro game. Like, yeah, you can get Doom, but there's other Doom targets he's gonna have to worry about. But yeah, playing Necro into Tiny, like that's partly why Necro has become popular, particularly in some of the other regions, is because of this Tiny matchup. The percent-based damage of the Reaper just feels really nice. So I think this is a great last pick. If you're going to last pick your off lane, having Necro in your pool is a very helpful thing to have.
All right, well, and welcome back again. We're going a quick pause. Hopefully the game will get going again soon. But the other little switcheroo that Necro pick gave us is now it's going to be the Sand King playing mid against Pango. And this is another one of those things that sort of, I think it was Carl that might have done it first or something like that. But he sort of provides on Avatar mode this like just big hulking presence to drop in a lane and stop any action from going on. But it does feel kind of weird because I don't know how much Polaris are really going to try and get aggro early with this lineup.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of it. I think Lelouch is going to be more like the combo breaker Pango. Like, he's not looking to, like, go make a bunch of plays. But if Neon play aggressive, he's going to be there. He's going to have his Rolling Thunder basically to deter aggression and to protect his, like, greedy farming, Tiny, and Doom and stuff.
It'll be good stuff to watch for sure. And again, a lot of tiebreaker implications for both of these teams. Neon trying to keep their life alive, and on the side of Polaris, they're still hoping to get to the major. Not all hope is lost. There is a possibility, but if they want to get there, they got to win here. As down bottom, again, a good chunk of pressure there onto Asta. Eats and Illuminate. A couple more hits off the bat as well.
Yeah. So far, these lanes, I think, going mostly passively, which is what you'd expect. Typically, Doom's not looking to go hyper aggressive, and you're playing into a Bane TB, so you've got to kind of respect that metamorphosis whenever it can be cast. And typical players things, they want to go back and stack. They've realized their camp's been blocked, so they unblock it, and Xavius is going to have to wait a little bit longer to start getting those stacks. And he also zones the Bane away, so that did a good job of not letting Arbang come in to body block it, since he was looking to maybe reblock it. He's got Bane is triple sentry.
Oh my god.
He's looking to get back in there. He's like, okay, you dewarded me. I'm getting back in there. And the problem for Asta on TP is he's going anytime Bane's not in the lane, so he's getting harassed a lot. His lane's under quite a bit of pressure because, I think what Abang's doing is fine. Like, he wants to go stop these stacks, but makes the TB's life harder.
Yeah, and I don't think Xavius has any more queued up. The thing that's interesting about this is I wonder, like, as actually Abang TP's back to lane to ensure that Asta can get some farm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
if he dies, he's gone for a while. Yeah, this is pretty bad. But at the same time, if they can stop those stacks, that's usually what Lelouch at least uses it to go on in and take the hard camp, boost up his farm. So we'll see where they end up going with it. But at least for now, a big battle over the economy, as we might have expected.
Yeah. And this is where it supports like this Bane are going to have to, he's sacrificing his game, like buying triple sentry. TP scrolls are pretty expensive these days. Usually you're getting them by dying, and he's just using a TP to get back to lane to salve up his carry and also, help him get a bit of CS. So, Abang getting items this game is a bit of a pipe dream.
My man has less net worth than he started with. Abang is struggling. Yep. So it's going to be a little while there for him. But regardless, you can see that the pulls are getting off here. Xavius Force still keeping pretty good control of this lane, but Terrorblade, he's not being completely zoned out. He's still getting farm on this TB. The main winner so far, at least, has been Avatar Mode, who's currently sitting level 5, almost getting level 6 here on Lelouch, and will be able to probably get into a decent time Blink Dagger.
He's looking pretty well-versed on this mid-Sand King, at least with his farm. He's getting a bit low here. The level 6 is coming up soon. Lelouch doesn't actually hit him with that swashbuckle. I believe he was trying to get the creeps and the harass in, so good news for Sand King. He's just utilizing the Sandstorm to farm that little camp with the mid-wave, so getting that kind of farm advantage.
That's what he wants to do for sure. And I think that deny might have stopped the Pango from getting level 6, so pretty clutch there as well, because it looked like he wanted to all-in him. But regardless, that might be the next point of contention. We'll see. Maybe if somebody rotates over.
Yeah. For now, Avatar Mode. Oh, is he going for the Rolling Thunder mid?
Trying to make it happen. Needs to get another hit. Drops down the Sentry Ward afterwards. Oh, but the little juke.
Can he juke again?
Juke back and forth. He wants to get out of there, but Lelouch eventually finds the kill. Bushwhack in. Couple more punches. And they get the counterplay.
The support dream. The solo XP on a mid hero. And unfortunately, he doesn't get to stick around mid. He's got to go back, and he's trying to stack some jungle camps. But great move from the Pangolier. Has to commit the sentry under the tower, but double sentry for a kill like that, he's going to be more than happy since it's first blood gold.
And another round, as you can see there, of the stacks being stopped constantly by Abang. I mean, this is what Polaris showed early on in the season, and people know how to play against him now.
Yeah. And that means for Polaris, I think you kind of have to maybe focus these lanes a bit more. It's like, okay, if this Bane's going to be constantly out of the lane, you can't just rely on this catch up and this power farming of your Ancients, but their lanes are going solid here. So we'll see how Polaris kind of transition out of this, because they can't just fall back on this hyper greed with jungle stacks. They're going to have somebody make some plays and moves. So someone like Lelouch on the Pango probably is just going to naturally get a lot less farm in a game like this when they don't have stacks to play around.
And it does mean, that's part of the reason why he goes for that kill there, but making sure that he's able to get stuff happen in the other lanes as well. As you can see, back and forth they go. The Bane just pressuring Force, and actually finds him now with the sleep. There's a couple pings. I don't think they can do anything here, though. No.
Just poking things. Give Asa another salve. Just constantly buying regen for his carry. Abeng still under 600 net worth. That's just life for him right now. Buy salves, block enemy camps, forget boots.
Yeah, no chance for him to do much more than that. I mean, to be fair, it's like, it's a Bane. Just get some XP. Things will be fine.
Even the Hoodwink top coming in, like he blocks the camp and he was leeching some XP. This is Polaris in week 1 and 2. They just love farming their jungle.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, it goes to show, like, over the course of 6 weeks, how these teams sort of react to gameplay that they see. And, the early strength that Polaris have, they have been able to still find some amount of success here and there. But if they want to beat Neon here, they're at least not going to get a free win off the back of this jungle farming.
Here we go. 8-minute Blink Dagger on Avatar mode Sanking. It is go time on some level for them. They instantly smoke up. Jing's Hoodwink is going to be the big playmaker he wants to pair with, so they've got the Chain Stun coming out.
Look who they find.
They've got Epicenter.
Natsumi got him immediately, looking for the bushwhack afterwards. Oh, he gets the tree, though! Cuts the tree down, so they don't have enough for the kill, and that is a nice little dodge.
Yeah. It may have... I don't even if he doesn't cut the tree, I don't know if it was enough damage. He had, like, 17 one-charges, so it's going to be tricky anyway. Sand King... just a hard kill to get on Tiny, who's so tanky. He's still trying to make these moves. This is kind of I think, a risky part of the game for Avatar's mode, his game. Like, he's going all in on this fast Blink Dagger, no greedy boots of travel or anything. He needs to connect on some of these rotations or he's going to fall off, and Polaris is just going to keep out-farming them.
Yeah, and they are well versed to be able to do that now, as he was even sticking around trying to steal the bounty rune away, just not afraid. Drop down that ward and know that Lelouch was right behind him.
Yep. Yeah, Avatar mode, they probably could kill the Pugna there, but it would likely come at the cost of somebody. Good job finding the cuddle top.
And Ryu on the board.
This top tower needs to be taken ASAP. This is what's going to just give them a lot of map control, allow them to constantly invade this top tower jungle. At some point, you just have to kind of give up the enemy triangle and let them keep farming it. Ideally, keep blocking it with wards and whatnot, but like, you can't just expect to be able to control both enemy jungles. So just prioritize getting one over the other.
Natsumi there, running right past Asta on his way towards the jungle as well. And, this early pressure that's being mounted up top, it looks like it's going to be mirrored by Polaris down bottom. 2 points up in the Nether Blast for Pugna. Feels like it's a decent time to try and push this one down a little bit here. But we'll see if they really try and pressure for it. And Abeng, level 5.
I could see Obi Neon defending towers. Like, Blink Sanking, Necro's Hood. Necro can probably TP into, like, any enemy push. Like, pop your Hood. Even if you get Doom, you probably survive through it. Or if you don't survive through it, like, you may be setting up your team to win the team fight. So I think Obi Neon are going to be the ones who look to defend their towers. We'll have it to see here. They've got a Bane Invis here, so they can set up using the Nightmare potentially.
And not quite level 6 yet, and is getting close to it. They're going to use the glyph now. Force comes on in. He eats the catapult. Not seeing any other rotations down bottom, but it would probably have to be TPs anyway. So they might try and get him on his way out of here. Well, there you go. Jing caught him. Popping the ulti. Bushwhack afterwards. And the Bro Strike through for the kill. Still,
they were waiting
dead.
for Sanking's... Oh, yeah. The reason they couldn't come early is Sanking's TP was actually on cooldown. So I think that's why they took so long. It's just waiting for Avatar mode to have that TP back up. Like I said, they want to defend these towers. But if a big team fight happens, Necro's really strong. Sanking's got Blink. They don't want to just give up these towers, but unfortunately, TP cooldowns are such a big thing in early game.
I don't know if you saw that one also, but even Ast is getting in on the action, and he sent his illusion up to block the ancient camp from being stacked as well. So everybody is involved in trying to shut down these guys' farm.
That's nice. And you can see the Tiny's net worth. He is number 6 on the charts here. That's the hero that's, max tree throw. Like, he wants to be playing this farming greedy style, but he's just had no stacks to go to. So, not easy for him to get his farm on. You've got a Doom with Midas who's trying to, doesn't really do a whole lot until he's got at least Blink Dagger, but really Blink BKB. Pengaloo does it with Diffusal, so this is probably something that Polaris may want to try and make some moves around. The problem is they've got 2 very passive supports, like no stuns, no slows. Their supports dish out damage, but they're all in on this Pengo setting stuff up.
Oh, he was going to get stunned there for a second. Low mana, though, afterwards, and Natsumi comes on in. They will take out that creep wave and maybe now finally head back to 1 stack that was able to be created.
They've got it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Big rune secure, though. The Sand King just fighting over that top power rune has a haste rune. He instantly just runs back to Fountain. Like, he doesn't want to use this bottle to heal himself up because he wants to make some plays happen with this haste. So, the Arben get picked off here in the jungle.
Comes on in. He gets the bounty rune, but it costs his life. So again, low kills so far. And likewise, not really objectives taken either. There's a little bit of damage onto both mid-tier 1 towers. But with the exception of that, it's been a very static game. And I mean, I guess we've sort of talked about this in the context of both of these teams wanting to farm up. Do you feel like one is going to want to sort of like get that pressure on earlier between these 2 squads?
I would look a bit more to OB Neon, like when they hit their item timings with TB. I think they're the ones who are going to have a bit more playmaking potential, whereas for Polaris, they just have 3 greedy cores. Like maybe I mean Pengo not greedy, but they have 3 cores that all want farm.
Yeah.
For OB Neon, it's going to be like let's hit TB's item timing and then make some plays. Like they also just want to keep making these little pickoffs with Sand King Blink down bottom.
Natsumi there to the side. Now the grip afterwards. They need to find a way to break this one, but the life drain is coming in to heal him back up. He's broken down low, but the Doom gets off onto Terrorblade. Will it be enough for the kill? The roll through, and yes, indeed, they take that one. Easy peasy. And Avatar mode just has to run away. Lelouch doesn't quite catch sight of him, and so the Sand King will escape, but a huge turnaround from Polaris.
Yeah, because they took that tower early, like Necro can't really join this fight. Like it's a bit of a tricky situation for Onryu to be in. It's very easy to walk away from that fight saying, okay, Polaris brought numbers, where's Necro? He should be at that fight. But if you're OB Neon, you can't just have Necro like walk. If he walks down that lane, Polaris aren't going to defend it. The reason they defend that is because it's at a tower, everyone can TP in, and they know that Onryu's Necro is not there. So the fight gets, it's actually possible for them to win. We'll see what Onryu can do with this Invis rune there, but just really good recognition from Polaris and punishing the over-aggression of OB Neon. It was a nice attempt from OB Neon, like they wanted to use that Sand King haste rune, but they just didn't have the damage to kill people with the Pug and the life drain.
They're really trying to force this here. You can see on OB Neon, like Enryu's pressuring this tower. They want this tower gone so they can make some more moves into Polaris's area. But it's not easy, the double rounds now of the Swashbuckle, and then also having the Coddle Blast constantly. A nice little Quelling Blade again by Natsumi there.
This is like the Turtle Central heroes, Coddle and Pengo, like good luck pushing and taking towers. I like that they're like restructuring how they approach the game. Like after that move bottom, I imagine the discussion was like, okay, we can't take fights at enemy towers if Necro needs to be frontline. And the problem is with this like Sand King smoke gank style of play is unless you're smoking to your Necro's, unless he had Boots of Travel, maybe that's like a takeaway for a game like this is he should have gone something like Boots of Travel. But you have to smoke and play around your Necro. He's your strongest hero right now. With Hood's 4-staff, about to hit level 12, Onryu is pretty massive. So they can't have big team fights break out away from him.
And exactly what you talked about, like for Avatar mode, he went all in on this Blink Dagger, and now bottom of the net worth charts, and hasn't been able to find that success that he wanted, at least at this early going. But again, they have the potential. They've got Fiend's Grip up and ready to go. They've gone double 4-staff also, with the second item for Sand King being that, so they'll have a ton of maneuverability. But we're just going to have to see if they can actually make the plays and try and play a little bit more aggro. Because again, you've got Midas Doom going into the late game. It's scary.
It is, yeah. You get to that late game, like super late game Dota with Refresher Doom is definitely not out of the question for a game that's going at this pace. Doom top of the net worth, and that's just something that's probably going to maybe Tiny or TB takes over at some point, but those 3 cores are going to remain very far in this game.
Again, playing on this side, the map split completely in half. Unryu playing a little bit further forward right now, forcing him battling over a medium camp. He takes it with the Hand of Midas, which is nice. But again, they're not giving up this tower. And down bottom, Jinx trying to get the farm on the Hoodwink.
Yeah, I think that's been the best thing Polaris have done with their gameplay is just keeping this mid-tier 1 tower alive. At some point, you know, you're going to lose that top tower, but the fact that 17 minutes in against a Blink Sanking and like this super tanky Necro, this mid tower, it's still like almost half health. They've done a really good job, and I think that issue for Obi Neon is like they need to find a way to kill heroes and then bring TB in with Metamorph to finish off the tower, but it's just so dangerous. Like to kill heroes, you're diving with Blink Dagger, and that's just something against like Pengo and against the Life Drain like we saw bottom is so risky to do.
Dude, Avatar Mode is so angry. Look at him. He wants the Epicenter forever, and now the Duke comes out. They find it on the Necro. Fiend's Grip afterwards keeps him in place so that another hit goes out on the Necropost. And this is Polaris Gaming in a nutshell. They move on in, hit their timing, and then just take the fight, and now going to take the tower.
Yep. And when they took that fight, they made sure they brought 5. Because Sand King was there, but he like saw all these heroes. That usually his job there is to like counter initiate. Like, okay, they went on this Necro and used Doom. Free fight for me. I can Epicenter, Blink, Burrow Strike in, and there's nothing to kill me. But he just used his Blink to run away. Like he's like, we're in a 2 versus 5 essentially. Because your Necro's doomed, the only hero there is Bane. Your TP's farming jungle, which is his job. Your Hoodwink's like pushing out bottom. Polaris just caught him with their pants down, bringing in everybody. Like using this tiny early game to fight with his Shadow Blade looks really nice there.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like a little bit of a swap up too. You know, just getting involved on these early game fighting things now for Natsumi. He's going for the BKB next. I think it's going to be 3 BKBs or just the 2 because Lelouch also has the Lincoln Spear, and they will find the kill on the Mavis there. So at least a little bit of retribution. Now Necro up to 2 stacks of that Reaper Scythe regen.
This Avatar Mode. Nice force up back to the high ground. That may just save his life here.
Roll in. Lelouch still thinking about it, but realizes can't find the connection. And then they back out. But tower taken.
Doom and Rolling Thunder on cooldown now. This mid-tier, I feel like this is where Neon really need to get this mid-tower. Unfortunately, Arbang walks into a Tiny.
Just gets caught out of nowhere. Oh, that one hurts. And then he gets the courier too. No. And denies the ward. Natsumi. Give these supports some hope.
Yeah. That should have been the, I think, timing for Neon to just take this T1 mid. You've got Metamorph. There's no Doom. There's no Rolling Thunder. It's still so annoying because you just get blasted by Illuminate and Swashbuckle, but at some point you just got to force that tower. But doesn't seem like they have any interest on team fighting with TB. He's gone for a Skadi, so no early signs of BKB, so it seems like Neon's approach to this game is like, let's just match their greed a bit without TB at least. The problem is it's going to very quickly turn into TB versus the world. He's the only one of their cores really, well, he's ahead in farm, but like Sand King Necro are falling off quickly.
Yeah, and you know, these are 2 heroes that are going to do a ton of magic damage into the later stages here, and you know, you can maybe make some type of a play with them where like you burst, I don't know, maybe the Doom or the Tiny at the start, and they'll find a kill here onto Mavis, it looks like. Well, I say that. I'm not sure actually anymore. Never mind. They won't even get him. Ward down, and now Albang's completely out of position. He's going to get caught and killed. And this fight just has not gone the way they wanted it already at the start. Now the Necro turned upon. Avatar Mode, Epicenter doing literally nothing. As the Necrophos is going to force step away, tries to survive, but it won't happen. One last blast from that ward brings him down. The disarm onto Terrorblade. He can't go anywhere, and then the jump in from Force. Destroy Neon. Polaris have absolutely handled that perfectly.
Yeah. That's one of those fights that looks so ugly, and it's one of those fights you have to watch from Radiant Vision and then Dire Vision. There's a ward on that cliff There is a Pugna ward in the tree. Sand King tries to epicenter blink in under the Pugna ward, and you're fighting under enemy vision. Like, that is just absolute worst case scenario. I'm sure Twine is going to be chewing them out for that one. You know, in the between games, like, what are you guys doing there? You can't fight when the enemy just dewarded you there and potentially got they put a fresh ward up and just had the freest of fights there.
I got to imagine this game is feeling so frustrating for Neon, because again, it's like all of these moments where they know they need to hit and like get their timing just perfectly, and it feels like 1-2 things just fall out of whack, and then suddenly a fight like that happens and you're staring at an 11k net worth lead. It's gonna get a little bit harder before it gets easier for them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think where things maybe get easier, they have an option to get back into this game, is going to be this TV's BKB. It's going to take some time to get there, but they're going to be pretty far behind. Like, it's a 12k gold lead now, but Polaris playing with Aegis, they're going to be able to get a lot of map control. They can make smoke plays. I don't think you can really team fight into them now. This Lincoln's Pengo, you can't just grip him during his Rolling Thunder. It's going to be a scenario where OB Neon are just trying to play keep away, and this is so bad for Asta.
This is the worst place to find him in, and the hook stop afterwards. They take the kill, and now Avatar mode also goes in. Gotta be very careful here. And Ryu, the roll, tries to find all of them. Gets the one, Bats, and now Avatar round 2, and Ryu wants to run away. Good bushwhack. That might be enough to keep him alive, but maybe not. Now the Pugna catches there again. Avatar mode wants to turn this around the epicenter. He hits onto Illusions, doesn't find Lelouch. Oh, not again. Neon struggling again to find anything in this point. And Polaris giving them no opportunities, just absolute destruction.
Yep. I mean, we talk a lot about timings, and this feels like the epitome of a game where Polaris, they just hit their timings. They got those early items up, the Shadow Blade, the Doom got his Blink Dagger up, Pangolier just Blink Diffusal, and they were ready to fight. They spent, you know, it felt like they spent like 90% of the early to mid game just farming it up, but when they did group as 5, every single time Polaris made a smoke move and grouped as 5, they saw big rewards. Like, they won that team fight mid, took a tier 1 tower. They won that fight under the ward in the enemy jungle, take Roshan. And it just feels like OB Neon, their smoke moves maybe find like a pick-off, like a support kill or something. They kill the Pugna. And OB Neon are never turning their moves into objectives. So just really good, like, overall, like, strategic gameplay coming out from Polaris. Like, they're making moves that lead to objectives.
I'm really impressed. And this is, I think, the type of Polaris game that we were hoping to see before, as Lelouch gonna get gripped, but the turnaround, they're there yet again. Doom onto Terrorblade. Can they find anything in the fight afterwards? A couple more right clicks, but Abatos connects again onto Terrorblade. He will die. Has not gotten to cast Sunder this game. Another roll through, and Ryu completely away from the rest of his squad as they're all dead. Does get a Reaper Sight kill out of it.
Okay.
So that is something.
No.
But it's
not done now.
They're gonna find one last hit on the Hoodwink.
Yep.
Holy
Back-to-back
moly.
team wipes. And you've got Tiny, so buildings will absolutely melt. No glyph for some time here. They're going to have some time to poke at the high ground. Maybe get a lane of racks or force a buyback. It might just be a tier 3 tower because these respawn timers are still pretty low, but Polaris in full control of this game with some amazing team fights back-to-back. They're just using these Blink Daggers to get on top, getting the Doom on the TB, stopping the Force Staff with a toss, like every little thing just being executed perfectly by Polaris.
I mean, if you look on the graph right now, there's all these blips that show up on the bottom, right? The last one that was really good for OB Neon was Terrorblade killing Doom, and the rest of them are like Sentry Wards. Everything else, it's all going Polaris' way.
I was hovering over there, I was like, oh, I'm surprised there are green dots, and then it's like, oh, I'm not sure why Sentry Wards pop up.
You know, silver linings, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. Game is hard. And, I mean, I don't even know if they necessarily need to wait for the next round of Aegis. Like, obviously, Natsumi would love to be able to get the AC, but he's almost level 20. They're calling to go up top again, and they'll be Neon just struggling to find anything here. They've almost got BKB on ass. Still 1,000 gold away, though.
I think this is a game where maybe they're going to be thinking, like, we should have just gone Yasha BKB on TV and forced some early fights in towers. And then the base goes Natsumi and Lelouch. They're just cleaning up. They did commit Rolling Thunder here, so I don't know if they want to stick to this push. on cooldown, but they seem like they can.
Lincoln's on Natsumi. He's got the status resistance. He's got pretty much everything that he needs right now. But Avatar mode thinking about going, waiting for the Lincolns to go off. It's on him again. Jump in. Avatar backwards. Avatar mode finds him, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Enryu tries to get away. Does have another Reaper sight, but they don't quite have the damage. Force gripped. Can they kill him after this BKB rails off? It looks like they will, but in the meantime, Polaris have managed to get the full set of racks as well.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, you know, for the greater good moments for the Doom there. He creates enough space that they can get the full lane of racks there. I love that the Doom itemized for this Linken's. Like, he could easily have played for his own game. Like, oh, you know, let's go super late game, get this refresher. But I think recognizing that TB didn't have a BKB to fight with, he just goes for this slightly cheaper item that's going to really buff up his Tiny. Like, the way Polaris loses this game is his Tiny, like, getting Reapered or something on the front line. So, double Linken's to help him out. Like, Doom isn't getting this Linken's for himself most of these fights, but we'll see if Obi Neon can claw their way back in. They see Lelouch down bottom, but with the Linken's there, they've got to break it. And oh, it's just so hard to execute that game.
Oh, no. I think he forced him. I think that they accidentally forced him.
Oh. Like someone else broke Linken's with...
Yeah.
I think Enfeeble broke it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Avatar mode forced him. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, and then that's why the Burrow Strike missed.
Yep. Well, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Sometimes that's just how it goes in Dota, it feels like.
Yeah. I think Avatar mode was like, okay, we're not going to sync up the Linken's breaking the stun. I'm just going to break it and stun myself. And yeah, bit of miscommunication there, unfortunately.
Well, now Natsumi has a DD. And the AC done.
Yeah, that's scary. Tiny's one of the best DD heroes in Dota.
Gets a mind breaker too. Man, whenever I see these Tinies that just start like getting ahead like this, he does show on a ward, but that might make them feel like we don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, I think he was coming down here thinking he could kill some like solo kill with a 800 base damage Tiny. But they are hoping he runs into them. They would love a free Tiny kill, but here come the rest of Polaris. They're going to absolutely surround them here.
They break on the other side, not quite in vision. Mavis caught for the moment, and now the Bushwhack. They're taking the outpost first, and Natsumi finds one, looks for the hit, takes him down immediately, and now Force walks right on in. Hello, how are you? They get the BKB off first on the TV, so he's going to be able to stand and hit a little bit, but you can't hit against Natsumi like this. Avalanche looks for a punch, 1-2 onto Abang, and Ryu trying to run away now as well. Maybe they can turn this with a Sunder, but you can see Polaris, they're playing it safe, and tier 4 towers are being hit with creeps.
Yeah. The discipline here, like they know, okay, we didn't actually kill the TP and that Doom's wearing off. We give him a Sunder into like, a Reaper or a Sanking Burrow Strike. He maybe turns his fight around. Let's just back off, reset. We've got 2 lanes of racks. We've got a Roshan coming up in the next 3 minutes, or we just wait for another jump. Like they just want to make sure they get a clean fight.
And looks for Asta there, jumps away. Thought about it with the Aghanims on the Pango.
Yeah.
Nice chunk of damage.
Yeah, had the level 4 Illuminate flying in as well, so had just quite enough. But 2 minutes till Roshan, so a bit of a long Rosh respawn. Not sure that this is a scenario where it matters whether there's a short or a long one. Just means Polaris probably have to wait a bit longer. Probably worse for an Obi Neon because they're going to be like, do we have to, contest Roshan? Do we need to smoke out? And if they have a successful smoke out, then suddenly it's like, oh, we want to fight, but there's no Rosh, so... We'll see how they approach this stage of the game here, because an Aegis on this Tiny, I think, is almost guaranteed game over.
Well, and for now at least, it does give a little bit of extra time for Neon to get a next item, but to be honest, I don't even really know if there's anything that they can get that changes the state of this game. I mean, this Sanj will be kind of neat for Asta at least, because then he can, get some status resistance working in there, but... Yep. It's tough. It's a tough one. And the building down bottom has already gone, and they're eyeing up the bottom set of racks as well.
Yeah, they're going to smoke back. Looks like they want to just chase Obi Neon a bit around the map, knowing that, hey, we could go high ground, but they'll probably defend. Let's try find those key kills in the triangle, secure Roshan. They're going to run right into it.
Jump right at the start, find Avatar mode, break the Linken's Natsumi, Avatar's dead. On the other side, they're chasing this Necron, and Ryu nowhere left to go. Does get brought down to about half HP, and pretty quickly after that, he's going to be dead as well. They ping out Roche. Roche won't be up, but Buildings, they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think you can just go for that last lane of Brax. Maybe bring the creeps through mid or whatever it may be. Definitely don't need Roshan at this point in the game to maybe get the mega creeps. Nasus gonna have no real options to fight with TP. He needs the heroes like, Sanking and Necro to front line for him.
Found him off in the trees. Oh, Terrorblade, nowhere left to go. Does have Thunder. Okay, wanting to wait. No, the dude gets out, and then he's dead immediately.
What a
GG. That's enough.
With a BK, that was a sick BKB from Tiny. He saw the animation and literally reacted to the animation, it looked like. Lelouch, he dies in the fountain, ruining his KDA. But man, we saw this a lot in the, we talked about not just his playstyle, but Lelouch's Pengo in those early weeks of DPC. He plays a sick mid Pengo. He is just very flashy, knows how to, he didn't win his lane or anything. He got a pretty, even lane. They both farmed, but once it came to the mid game and making these moves, he looked really good.
Yeah, and I think that, again, it feels like we kind of knew the way that the problems they were going to face. There was so much emphasis after that failed gank on the bottom side of the map to try and take that mid tower, but when that never died, it's just there was nothing that Neon could do, it felt like.
Yeah, having heroes Cuddle Pengo was their opening 2 picks, and I think probably part of the discussion there was we can just play as greedy as we want. We have Cuddle Pengo. They can't take towers, so... it was tough. I think Obi Neon didn't have that good hero to force the issue and either dive for kills or force towers. They were trying to match maybe the greed with the TP, and it just doesn't work because that's your Polaris' comfort zone.
All right, well, I'm sure frustrating game for Obi Neon, but for the side of Polaris at least, keeping their hopes alive of making it to the major. They need to win this series in order to even have a chance of making that happen. But for now, we're gonna go quick break. When we get back, panel's gonna break it all down. We'll see you then.